Hi guys, in today's video I'm going to talk about one of the most popular funds in the UK, the Vanguard LifeStrategy 100%. Together we're going to take a deeper look at the fund. I'm going to go through some of the major details all about it, and then towards the end of the video I'm going to compare it to another very popular Vanguard fund and how it's performed in comparison. My viewer question for you this week is, if you invest in a Vanguard LifeStrategy fund, which one do you pick in your portfolio? But let's not waste any more time and head over to Vanguard's website. So the UK Vanguard website is vanguardinvestor.co.uk. We are going to hit what we offer and you'll see straight away the option for life strategy funds. Now, the life strategy funds are one of Vanguard's flagship products. There are 5 different life strategy funds. I'm not going to go through what the 5 different funds do differently. Instead, what I'm going to do is link to a past video I made all about this. It's going to explain which fund might be best suited to you if you haven't yet decided. But if you know that you are definitely interested in the Vanguard LifeStrategy 100%, this is what we're going to be going into. So we're going to scroll down and we're going to find Vanguard LifeStrategy 100% Equity Fund. So this is what you'll see when you first hit the products page. I remember when I first discovered index funds, just how confusing some of this information was. We're going to go through together what all of the different information means, what we need to really pay attention to, and what maybe isn't quite so important. The first thing you'll see is various tabs. We're going to take a look at the overview tab. So this is the NAV price. This is how much it's going to cost to buy one whole share of this fund, which currently is £271.47. You may well be thinking this is more money than I want to invest. Well, the good news is with the life strategy funds, you can purchase fractional shares, so you don't have to invest £271.47 at a time. You can see the day change is up 0.98%. The asset allocation is not given the usual information that Vanguard's website shows us. We're going to go through why that is in just a second. Next up, we're going to see the ongoing charge. The ongoing charge, also known as OCF, is 0.22%. So this is a fairly low cost fund. Don't get me wrong, you can get a lot cheaper than this. For example, VUSA, which is the S&P 500 ETF, at just 0.07%. However, in my opinion, I don't believe 0.22% is a high fee, and I certainly have funds that charge very similar in my portfolio. Next up, you can see the risk rating. So this fund has a risk of 5 out of 7. The reason it is seen as fairly high risk is that this fund is made up of 100% equity, which is deemed a more risky approach. Next up, we're going to hit the tab price and performance. So this is going to give us a little bit more information about the fund. We've already gone through the NAV price. We've already spoken about the one-day change. You can see the 52-week high of this fund is £277.57. You can see the 52-week low of this fund is £217.53. Now, if we scroll down even more, you're going to start seeing some graphs. We're going to hit over to the 1 month graph. The reason being is I wanted to show you something here. As you can see, over the last month, it has been a rocky ride in the stock market. And you can actually see that if you'd invested on the 21st of April, £273.02, it would now be worth £271.47. So you would have lost money. Now, obviously, that's probably not looking very attractive for you. So the reason I wanted to show you this is investing in the stock market is a long-term investing strategy. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. Instead, you need to have years to ride out these bumps and waves in the stock market. On the Life Strategy overview page on Vanguard's website, they actually recommend you have a 10-year plus investing horizon if you're choosing the Life Strategy 100% fund. However, going back over onto this page, if we scroll down towards the bottom, you'll then be able to see another graph. This time we can go for a longer time period. So let's go instead since inception of the fund, which is May 2011. So you can see if we'd invested £10,000 back in May 2011 and just left it there working for us, straight away there was a dip in the market and our money would have gone down in value to £8,500. But over time, you can see that the markets are increasing. By April 2021, our original £10,000 is worth over £26,500. Not bad going in 10 years. So next up, we're going to head over to the next tab, which is portfolio data. Now, this is where the life strategy funds are slightly different to other index funds you may have heard of. And this is because the life strategy funds are something known as a fund of funds. So usually on this page we'd see all the different companies that the fund invests in. Instead, because the Life Strategy Fund is a fund of funds, you are actually going to see the different index funds it invests in. So the Life Strategy 100 is actually made up of 10 different index funds and ETFs. You can see them in order of how much they make up of the Life Strategy Fund. So for example, you can see 19.4% is made up in the Vanguard US Equity Index Fund. You can see 19.4% is also made up in the Vanguard FTSE UK All Share Index Fund. Now, do you remember me saying earlier that the asset allocation tab on the overview page was slightly different? This is because usually that tab would say how many stocks it invests in, but obviously this fund actually invests in multiple funds. By investing in a Life Strategy Fund, your fund of funds is going to actually be made up of between 6,000 to 20,000 stocks depending which Life Strategy Fund you pick. Now on this page is where we're going to come across the Life Strategy 100's biggest downfall, and that is its overweighting to UK markets. So when we look at the world market as a whole, the UK makes up around 4 to 5% of the world market. This means if you wanted a true fund to track the world market, you'd expect it to be made up around 4 to 5% in the UK. However, by buying in Life Strategy 100, it's actually weighted at over 20% in the UK markets. Now, you may believe that the UK has got some incredible years ahead of it, and that may be a great decision for you. But for a lot of investors, including me, this is probably one of the biggest downfalls of the Life Strategy Fund. I would much rather have a fund that just matches the world market, and the one I actually pick is VWRL. If we head over to Morningstar, I've actually put Life Strategy 100 and VWRL against each other on a comparison performance chart. You can see over the last 3 months, the Life Strategy Fund with that higher UK weighting is actually performing better. However, when we start going to a longer time horizon, you can see that VWRL has taken the lead in growth. This is because the UK hasn't performed amazingly well over the last 10 years or so it has been dragging the Life Strategy 100's performance since inception. Personally, because of this and because of its overweighting towards the UK, I instead choose to invest in the ETF VWRL. I'll put a link explaining all about that fund in the top corner of this one. But just in case you're still wanting to find out a bit more about the Life Strategy Fund, we're going to head over back onto Vanguard's website and take a look at the final 2 tabs. So next up is distributions. So a great thing about the Life Strategy Fund, it does pay dividends at 1.42%. The other great thing is this fund is an accumulation fund, which means as any dividends are paid, it automatically reinvests its dividends. This introduces something incredibly exciting known as compound growth, which basically means our interest is earning interest and then the interest is earning interest. You get the point. Finally, we're going to head over to costs and minimums. Again, the ongoing fee, which we've spoken about already, is 0.22%. The minimum one-off payment you can make into the Life Strategy Fund is £500, and if you wanted to set up a monthly direct debit, the minimum payment you can make is £100. So as a conclusion, the Life Strategy Funds are very popular options. Personally, and this is not financial advice, I probably wouldn't choose the Life Strategy 100% as my main equity fund. I'd probably go for just a world tracker fund, for example VWRL. I personally think the Life Strategy Funds are a lot more tempting if you're wanting to introduce bonds and you start looking at either the 20, 40, 60 or 80% Life Strategy Funds. This is because it is going to create a one fund portfolio for you that automatically rebalances, and it just takes all the legwork away from you. As I start getting closer to retirement, my plan is to indeed go over to a Life Strategy Fund, for example, either the 60 or 80%, which will introduce some bonds, but it's going to do any rebalancing and hard work for me. I hope you found today's video useful, and apart from that, I hope to see you again very soon. Take care, guys.